Yeah. Hello, Mary. Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
Mary Page.
Instrumental
Hi
break.
there. Where are you? Oh, thank God. Wonderful. Mary Page is home. We're just getting
Let's talk
started.
about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Oh, God. Right.
Fish.
All right.
Let's talk
Well,
about
that's
you
good.
and me.
Get
Let's
on if
talk
you
about
can.
all the good
Happy you
things
got
and
in
the bad things
alive
that
and well
may
and
be.
happy.
Let's talk about
Okay.
fish.
Yes, you bet.
Let's talk about fish.
Well, let's straighten up.
Fish.
See you in a bit. All right.
I think
Bye-bye.
that one will do. I'll play it back and I'll see what I think. I think it's probably the nuts. And,
It is. That was Mary Page. They just walked in the door. Just got home. Excuse me. All the pieces. I think I got it stuck in my throat. Oh, well, this was just getting out of hand this morning in the chat. So I figure we may as well go live and deal with some of it a little more auspiciously. Ooh, I don't know if I can talk this morning. Oh, glory. Well, today's a better day. On some levels and not as good on other levels. And a little of this and a little of that. And you put it all together and you got just another day. Like that. So, here we are. I found my shark's tooth. I've been wondering where I put it. I figured out I did not lose it because I would only take it off at home. Therefore, it must be at home somewhere. And I went looking last night and found it. So I'm wearing it this morning. I don't know if I can get away with wearing it routinely. It's kind of big, but it's different, and I like it. All right. Oh, well, Chris made an astute observation. He says, my teachers are anyone that knows more than I do, except that he spelled knows, N-O. So, so that makes it a little confusing. But I delve I delve to the meaning of these written texts, and I always get the sense of it. Well, nearly always. Well, sometimes. Well, maybe usually. Oh dear. So Mary Page just called. They just walked in the door. They finally got home after being in Kentucky for more than a month. She said they lost 3 kids on the way. I think they wanted to lose 3 kids. They did 500 pit stops on the way. Uh, that's the kind of control a child has on these interminable trips. They can, unless daddy is a use the jar kind of guy. Well, we've been on thin ice here all morning. Oh, we've been talking about algae. Aquatic Conquest says it is Friday, and I got a day off tomorrow. Nice. Lee has been right there up to snuff this morning. Doing well. I think he, where is it? No, I won't find it now. It's too far gone. Live chat. This one I want. I don't know if I can get back home. Let's see. No, can't go back far enough. Fortunately, I've lost the early stages of this conversation. But I did learn a new word. I'm not sure I'm happy knowing it, but it does have certain application. I don't think it's a particular vulgarity, but it is an insult. T-Bone was the mad chemist this morning who used the word in a context which I'm glad is no longer on the screen. Use the word palming. Did not know what that word meant. It's a uniquely Oz word used to describe Brits who are recent transplants and not very well seasoned. A palmy. So I'm gonna be referring to Lee as a palmy here. I think he'll like that. Psychedelic hippocampus. Is there anything that will eat the algae that covers everything after a Mosima ball breaks down? Molly's won't eat it. Well, that's the miracle of the algae ball. Oh, y'all know the story of the algae ball? You know where these things come from? I've told that story a few times, but not recently. How much do we have to raise for Father Fish to shave his chin and rock a lemon? I don't know, Million. Very good question. I occasionally think about it. I did trim it. It was down to here, and then I trimmed it about a month ago, and it hadn't grown out much since then. So I may be at the end of my growth. I don't really know. We were talking algae balls and the story of algae balls. Did anybody respond? No, no, don't let shave, Father Finch. So, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Lee Wilcox, gotcha. Gotcha. Right. Oh, my goodness sakes. Massimo. Even the name is contrived. Massimo. Massimo, whatever. It's Moss Ball. They hail from a little village in northern Japan. Mind you, northern Japan, not southern Japan, but northern Japan. And a very tiny village, a village of a population of maybe well under 1,000. And all of the houses in this village, all of the homes are surrounding a lake. Actually, it's a big pond, sort of lake status, because you got 100 homes around it or so. But it's this big pond surrounded by a village. And the village people in their homes live all the way around it. And these are lemming-like sort of people who live a very, how shall I say it, a very routine lifestyle. At a certain time of the morning, everyone wakes up all at once. And they all gather at the front door of their little houses. And they greet each other. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Sucks of thy day. Hiya, ho. They greet each other all around the village. And then, as a group, they walk down to the water's edge. And they stare into the water in front of them. They look deeply into it, peer into its depths if they're able. What are they looking for, you might ask? They're looking for their little Massimos. And then they all stand up tall and begin walking together into the water. And they reach down and they find a little moss ball and they roll it. They roll it. Or maybe they find a brand new patch of moss and they roll it. And they spend then the next hour to an hour and a half out there all around the edges of this pond, rolling their little moss balls. And then, as if they were one, they all stop, they turn, and they smile at each other, turn around, walk back up to their. No, there was one more step. They walk to the water's edge, turn again, and thank the water, thank the pond, and thank the algae. They then turn and walk back into their little homes for breakfast. And they have breakfast. Now, they do this all but one day of the year. On that one day of the year, they come out with great, huge baskets and they harvest all of these mothballs. They then take them to their village center, which is funny because you'd think the center would be in the middle of the pond, but it's not. It's down in back, this old building, sitting there, been there forever. Only gets used once a year, not a big deal. Go in there and they sort the mothballs into different sizes. And once they're done, they wait. And on this particular day of the year, a truck pulls in, a big truck, and it loads up all the mothballs and weighs them as they're being loaded. And then the truck driver writes a check. Or does he give him cash? He gives them cash. They don't take checks. He gives them cash for all the mothballs. And they divide the money up all equally. Everyone gets the same share as everyone else. This is a communal village, you see. And that's it. That's it. And that's a true story, actually. It really does happen that way. These little balls are algae that the little Japanese people, Japanese, that the little Japanese people roll up into balls all the time, said to themselves, ha, 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 ha. We trick the Westerner. Ha, 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 ha. And these balls show up in all the shops and, ooh, 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 isn't that wonderful? Ooh, ooh, oh, ah. And they buy them, and they buy them, and they buy them. Ooh, and they take them home, and they put them in their tanks. And ooh, look, how nice. Ooh. And then a little later down the road, the mothballs begin to creep. And before long, they have filled the tank with hairy algae, full of hairy algae. Ooh, turns to ooh, turns to oh, turns to ooh, turns to psh. And that's the story of the algae bowl. Like that. Heroes ate your Anubias. Hum. Heroes. Chris has gone on about how he can't put plants in with his heroes. Well, I mean, if you can do it, you can do it. But I do it. Of course, I also put a lot of other fish in there. And I put a lot of plants in, not just like one or two. I put a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen. Fill it up with plants. Load it with plants. So they have many, many more than they can possibly munch down. And then I feed them plant material. If they're plant eaters, they get plant material. Now, there are some exceptions to this. And I was going to say one of the exceptions is silver dollars, but the truth is, I've got some wideband silver dollars, big ones, in with um, Amazon swords, and the swords are not being touched. They're not touching them. So I think it probably has more to do with your ability to discipline your fish than anything else. Uh, I love heroes. Great fish, Chris. I love heroes. I have a squeaky chair. I must be way back in the. I am. I'm miles behind here. Let's get caught up. Caught up. Aha. Mary Page is here. Come on up, dear. Save our sorry butts. Chris gave him a spanking. That'll work. That'll work. Atkins, Rohan, Chubbs. Hi, Chubbs. Have you avoided the hurricane? I had them one time till I learned what they were. Then I threw them in the trash. Right. Precisely. Marco Isidori. Hello, Marco. Atkins. Misfit. Lee. Japanese knotweed here in England. You cannot sell a home if you have it. Just as bad as asbestos. It's like a mold. What is it? Japanese knotweed. Guess we need to look that one up. Japanese knotweed. How to remove Japanese knotweed. It's a member of the buckwheat family. Prefers sunny, moist areas, including riverbanks, roadsides, lawns, and gardens. The plant arrived from Japan to the UK and then North America in the 19th century as a landscaping ornamental. It is an invasive plant that just won't die. Let's see if we can get a picture of it here. Images. Oh, well, I don't know if I've ever seen it. New York invasive. Shall we show it? I'll probably lose my picture if I do, but what the heck? We're here to take risks. So, what's that look like to you? I don't think I've ever seen it. Japanese knotweed. Kind of a low-growing, bushy thing that I guess gets tall. It's sort of pretty. It's an ornamental. Oh, look at this. That's a little out of hand there. Interesting. Ooh, wow, look at that. Top 10 invasive species. The Problem of Japanese Knotweed by Edward Miller, Estate Agents. Ah. Okie dokie. Oh, Chris. Mary. Are you going to make it, Mary, or not? So, Mad Guy is here. Good morning, good morning. Post the link again. We're Dunlap. Roman says we have a growing in Toronto. Kudzu. Yeah, Kudzu's another one. Or is that, no, that's not the same. Kudzu's different. Kudzu's the vine. Shark tooth story. I don't know if I have a shark tooth story. Shark tooth story. I have to think about that one a minute. It's a Cladophora story. Is that story real about the algae balls? It truly is. Yes, it is. It is true. The main the spine of it is true. the the outward flourishes may be a bit of an embellishment, but the spine of it is true. A story about the shark's tooth. Ah. Yeah. Oh, still on the way, but you should be safe. That's good. Yeah, it is slowing down. I saw it was down to a 2 at landfall. There it is. Where Dunlap says knotweed eats masonry foundations. Well, that's a particularly nasty thing, isn't it? Big into coffee this morning. Hello, fish and tank decks. I think we're on gold now, actually. I think as of October 1st, the US dollar is on the gold standard. I have heard that. I haven't confirmed it, but I've heard it from a number of sources. All right. I think I went back far enough. Against the flow, I had one and my goldfish ate it. Ha ha! Goldfish will eat about anything. Yeah, I dare say. I feed duckweed to goldfish almost exclusively, and they do eat algae. Cold, windy lakes in Iceland also make algae balls. Interesting. Cold, windy lakes in Iceland. Now, that's curious, isn't it? They're probably dirty, though. They're dirty algae balls, I'll bet you. The Japanese algae balls are very clean. They're rather pristine, in fact, because they lift the ball up as they roll it, so it doesn't get a big muddy buildup. And if you peel it apart, you can actually find the layers where it's been rolled and rolled and rolled. Now, these things take time. You got to understand. I mean, this is a tall undertaking. It is rather zen, if you will. Rolling moss balls is a meditative discipline, which done day after day, year after year, if only an hour a day, becomes an ingrained spiritual experience. So when we buy these moss balls, we're buying the spirituality of the experience of the little Japanese people rolling their moss balls. And we put it in our tank and we admire. We admire. Oh my, how I love, I've heard this. How often? I don't carry moss balls in my shop. We don't have moss balls here. No, 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 no. They love them. And then they come back, oh, oh, I think my moss ball is dying. Oh, why is that? Because it's all falling apart and it's just becoming droopy and it's filling the whole tank. Well, this is very simple. You need to do as the little Japanese people do. You need to roll your moss ball. Keep it rolled nice and tight. Roll it every day for an hour. Roll your moss ball every day, and you will develop that same spiritual insight and wonder that the little Japanese people have developed rolling their moss balls every day. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful. I love it. My eyes are falling out of my head. Eye drops, Visine, the very thing. Oh, mercy. Lee's all upset about his broken teacup. Little Japanese people. Not meant as a slight at all. They are, after all, rather diminutive. How do you say that word? Diminutive. They're rather diminutive. I can't say it. Small. They're rather small. They're rather small little people. Small people. The little people. But they have hearts filled with courage. I don't think I ought to get into this much further. We'll be into the sun god, and that'll be bad. Any specifics to dirt outside tubs, Sam Dam? Or do I just do the usual? It's a good question, Sam Dam, and it's one I appreciate being asked, if only because it gets me out of the algae ball routine. Outdoor tubs. What do you do for substrate in an outdoor tub? Well, I prefer to not cap the dirt in an outdoor tub. You're not going to be looking through it, so you're not going to be disturbed by how full of detritus it is. You're not going to be upset about the dirty bottom. You're looking down from the top, and mostly what you see is plants anyway. And if you fish swimming around, it's rather difficult to see the bottom in an outdoor tub. in addition, by doing that, you allow for more animal kills. I love that word, animal kills. Tiny little buggers that live down in the dirt that the fish love to eat. So you get a better, richer culture on things like Daphne and Paramecium and all those other little guys. Um, Obviously, if it becomes a problem for you, add a little sand to cap it off. But I find that everything does better in a tub if you don't cap it. In addition to the tiny fish we tend to keep in tubs, like the yellow soma, the pygmy sunfish, which prefer to dig down into the mud a little bit. They kind of hide there. And they breed there. They have their babies there, and the babies grow up there. So it's yeah, it's more beneficial um, for husbandry purposes in terms of growing little fish and also certain kinds of plants. Now, it does create an environment where the water column is rich in nutrients. But again, with an outdoor tub, that's not undesirable because you want to get tremendous plant growth. And you typically do. You've got the sun for it. You've got all of the outdoor world feeding it, and having those nutrients up and in the water column is going to generate more mossimo. 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 Don't put mossimos in there. Don't do it. Don't do it now. Don't do it. That's not Father Fish's technique. You don't put mossimo balls in your tubs. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. Don't do it. You'll be sorry. Oh. Wet Socks is here. Sister Luckmo is here. Hello, sister. Good to see you. Let me do a link here. This summer, my endlers and leopardanios were in an outside pond. An outside pond. Both liked to hide in the mulm. Well, there you go. There you go, fishing tactics. They like to hide in the mulm. Indeed, they do. Indeed, they do. It's not so nice in a tank because it's kind of messy. But in an outdoor vat, who cares? And the fish love it. Sister Longman, let me get over here. Chris is due to turn blue here. Chris is blue. Derek Smith. Hi, Derek. Derek is blue. Now you understand, all of you new blues, that with great authority comes great responsibility to have each other's back and to not do that which we find objectionable, or you will lose your blueness and go back to being a muddy white. Misfit. For me, if my tanks don't have plants, I always do a deep sand bed. If I do have plants, I use Father Fish's easy course, way of course. But then again, I have grown many plants with both options. Aha, the master breeder speaks. Good job, Misfit. And I could not agree more. Once you have achieved that first balanced tank, then play with it a little bit. Learn to stretch it out. See what else you can do. It's not hard and fast. It's rather slow, hard, soft and slow. Try different things just like Misfit does, and you will get different results. And that'll be good because then you'll learn when you do different things, you get different results. An important lesson for all of us to glean. No moss balls in tubs or ponds. Go psychedelic. Go psychedelic. I'm going to have to break down one of my tanks because of those things. But that could be why my tanks stay pretty clear. Well, it could well be. Clear except for the algae mass. But clear. True enough, somebody just blipped on. It is I fish. I fish. Because then you'll learn when you do different things, you get different results.
Hey, what's up?
An important turn your volume off on YouTube.
All right.
And then we won't get a feedback.
Well, what happened? It's not live anymore?
Yeah. How are you, Fist? Good to see you.
Hey, I was planning on a big project, and I would really love like feedback. Like, I'm planning to get like a 350 gallon, and I didn't want to put dirt in it. So if I put like a 4-inch sand bed, will it be okay?
Relative to what? What are you trying to put in it? What do you want to do?
Just the fish I already have now, like Oscars, arrows, bikers, heroes.
Well, are you going to plant it?
No, I don't plan on planting it. I'm just wondering if the maintenance will go down. Like, will I be able to do what you do? Like forever?
Yeah, what is it that I do? You mean maintenance-wise?
Oh, like, I don't know. You say you don't change your water until 4 months. I'm pretty much there, but I'm running like 2,000 gallons worth of filtration to get me there. But it's filtration that I run.
Yeah, if you do a deep sand bed, say this is a pretty good sized tank. That's what, 8 foot, about 3 foot tall. So
Well, it's gonna be a custom, so I was thinking 2.5. I was thinking 2.5 by
30 inches tall. So
yeah, close enough.
Yeah, put in 6 to 8 inches of sand. 8 inches is better than 3.
You said 6
to
8?
6 to 8, yeah, 8 inches. And then, yeah, at that rate, you will not. Exactly, yeah. I've got 12 inches. We lost, I think he fell off the chair. Did he fall?
I'm here.
He fell off the chair.
Yeah. The chair. I just pulled out a tape measure to see what 8 inches really looks like.
Good.
I just pulled out a tape measure.
It's 2/3 of a foot, right?
Yeah, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot, right? Exactly. But you have a very big tank. Good morning, Betsy. You have a very big tank, so it will not look. I mean, it'll look like 8 inches of sand, but it will allow you to be able to maintain that tank with no cleaning. You will never have to clean it. I have a 500 gallon set up the same way. I have 8 to 10 inches of sand in it. I've got about 20 very large fish, just the same kind of fish you have, Oscars, spikers, and so forth. That tank has been set up for about 8 years. I have never once gone in and cleaned it. It does have a small leak right now, and I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. But the water is crystal clear. I have circulating pumps in it. I don't even have filters in it. I just have a big pump at each end that circulates the water. And the filter, the sand acts as the
Oh,
filter. So yeah, it works. If you want to do it, that's the way to do it. And you do not need to use dirt.
man.
Have I lost you? Looks like you're frozen. I
Mine.
think you're freezing up on us, Fist.
Yeah, I'm seeing my screen like keep cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks, man. Probably in like a year, dude. I should have it. You said you have a 500. I would love to see it, man. Make a video.
Yeah, it's 10 foot. I've got some videos of it, but I'll do
Yeah.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It came out of a public aquarium. So it was a tank that they did not want anymore. They went to big, more expensive tanks, and I got this. It's a fiberglass with a glass front.
But it's leaking.
It's leaking. Yeah.
Dude, that
And so
sucks,
far,
dude.
yeah, I know. I think I'm going to be able to fix it. I'm not too worried about it. I just got to get to it. I have concrete floors, so I don't
Yeah,
worry
me
too
too,
much.
man. Mine's in my garage.
Yeah, right.
Just in
Makes
case
all the
something
difference in
happens.
the world. Right. Yeah, you don't want to put big fish tanks on wooden floors in the house because
Yeah,
they
it's too
will get
heavy.
ruined.
It's too
Really.
heavy and it's too moisty. It makes the room
Yeah.
moisty.
And it's gonna leak. Big tanks leak eventually.
Oh man, don't say that.
Oh,
But
they
yeah,
do. Well, mine's 30 years old.
yeah.
Tanks? Yeah. Anything else, Fisk?
Oh no, that's all. So I'm gonna just go back to the chat, and
Yeah. So with the sand, I would look for a way to try to get some sand naturally, maybe from a creek bed, riverbed, something like that. Otherwise, you're going to spend a fortune on sand. It's going to take almost $1,000 worth of sand if you have to buy it by the bag. So try to find a way to fill buckets in somewhere nearby, and don't worry about bringing in stuff you don't want. Just bring it in, throw it in there, get the water in it, let it run, get it going. Do you have the tank? Do you have the tank yet?
no, not yet,
Oh,
not yet.
okay. So once you
That's
do, just start
that's a lot of
filling it
money,
up.
man.
Indeed, it is. Have you looked at making one?
Oh no. I don't want to
Not
make
hard
one.
to do. Not hard to do. There
Yeah,
are a couple of
like
guys who make some nice ones.
yeah. I watched Joey DIY, and he
Yeah, we
just
did
shows you how
one.
to do it. But I don't want one like that. I want like a all plexiglass one, a
A
really nice one.
solid clear. Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah,
More
yeah,
expensive. You might find a used
yeah.
one. Just look around. There are big used ones available. I run into them all the time. In fact, I passed up a 600 gallon a couple of months ago because I couldn't move it, and I could have had it free. So
Free.
look around. Yeah, absolutely.
You should have went to
Keep
Home
your eyes
Depot and got
open.
some help.
Where do you live?
California.
Oh, they're for sure around. Look
Yeah,
around. You'll find one. Guaranteed you will.
yeah,
That'll be
man.
cool. Well, keep us posted, Fibs. That sounds
Oh yeah,
great.
yeah, definitely. I'll definitely put
Yeah,
something on.
that'll be fun.
Come
Thanks for and show us your heroes. I love heroes, and
Yeah, me too, man.
they've become really hard to get in the hobby. People don't carry them anymore.
Heroes?
Yeah,
You could get them all over here, all over California.
can you? Yeah, we don't always get them here. That's a
Uh,
nice tank. Some big
yeah,
Oscars.
it's a 125. Oh man, I got a humongous glare.
Yeah, it looks okay. We can see it. Just a little blurry. There's a Severum.
Yeah, he's like, "Why you wake me up?"
I know. Poor baby.
Because it's like
Oscar.
542 over here.
Wow. Nice bunch of fish. They look really good.
Oh yeah, they're spoiled. My
That
water's
Severum
starting to turn
minimal scale.
into black water. Like I added all this driftwood right there, that little shelf right here.
Yeah.
There's like a shelf right here, and one right here. They knocked it over though, that black thing, and then I got a big one over here where my datnoid likes to hide.
Great fish. I have a guy just came in yesterday who's looking for all of those fish.
Is that goldfish on mine?
Fish up there, yeah. He's a little one, but he'll get big. Nice arowana.
Yeah,
Great collection of fish. Silver dollar. Looks really nice.
I'm trying to show you the datnoid, but I can't get him to come on out. Like that. That was like $100 fish, and
Oh,
they
I
say
know
it's an
they're
endangered species because
well.
their natural habitat's being decimated.
Kind of wide band silver dollar. Is that what that is?
Yeah, silver dollar and a black barn mono or something like that.
A black one. Oh, really? Oh, nice.
I think so. It was like $30. I don't know why it was so expensive, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's my datnoid. You can see him.
Oh, he's gorgeous. He's a big guy. Oh, yeah.
No, not yeah.
Got
I
like
mean,
a
he got bigger, but
4 bar, like a four
come on
bar,
out, big guy. Come on out. I think it's a six bar
6 bar.
golden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Indonesian
Great
tiger.
fish. I love that. Great fish.
Come on out. Come on out. I'll give you some food. He just woke up and I got some catfish and a biker and
You got a lot of, you do
geophone.
need a bigger tank. You really do.
Yeah, I really do. And I only had this for like 8 months, I think. Or maybe
Wow.
like 6 months. And they just exploded. All of a sudden they're just huge.
Yeah, that's great. So what are you gonna? So you're gonna get a big new tank. What are you gonna do with the 125?
Make a giant sump, I assume. I don't know. Maybe a grow out or
Yeah, grow would be good.
I don't know.
Great as you put a half a dozen arowanas in it and grow them out. That'd be cool. Ah, nice.
I also have a 55.
Dan, oh, you got a 55 as well. Very cool.
Yeah, but
You are
it's
on
not
your
in
way.
service.
Good job.
There it is right there.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
It's not in service, but
Not set
there
up
it
yet.
is.
And a lot of little tanks.
Yeah.
You got the makings of the fish room there.
Oh yeah. This is
You're
my
on
man
your way.
cave. This is where it all
Really?
happens. Yeah. Here goes my food that I feed too. Check it out. Got that spirulina. This one. The spirulina.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
a new food that just started promoting. It's food made in Israel. It's real high quality. I'll have it on my my Get Gills site. Nice.
What's your site called?
Pardon?
Maybe I'll buy some stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's not up yet. It'll be up today. Get Gills.
Oh.
Have you been to
What is
Get
it called?
Gills? GETGILLS.com. there's a lot of stuff on there. A bunch of people there. It's like Aquabid. It's a fish sale site. It's not an auction site. It's a for sale site, but there are about 50 different suppliers on there. A lot of
So
guys
that's
from you on it.
so it's your site that you run, or it's a community
No,
based site?
somebody else runs it, but there are about 50 different people on it. Mostly it's YouTubers.
Oh, nice.
Kind of grew out of the YouTube. So it's, yeah, check it out. It's got a lot of cool stuff on it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Nice.
I can use some beta
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. I really like seeing your fish room. That'll be fun watching it as it
Oh
develops.
yeah, man. I'm getting tank syndrome.
Yeah, good. That's good.
First, I started with
Right.
a little Nano 5 hexi, and then it was a 10 hexi, and then it was like a 20, then a 20 long, and then it went to 55. And then I had a 125, and that one blew on me. And then I
Oh,
bought
wow.
this one, another 125.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing.
Oh man, thanks for the knowledge, man. Cool
You bet.
shark too.
Isn't that
Go
nice?
get a
Yeah.
megalodon.
It's about
Okay,
a
I'm not,
about a 4-inch bank, right?
yeah, that thing is huge. What is that, like a white shark?
It's a megalodon.
Oh,
It's a
wow,
fossil.
dude.
A
Sporting a
fossil
fossil,
meg.
man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a little
Yeah.
shield, huh?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
just like a little shield, like Superman.
That's it. That's it. Right. I don't wear it all the time. Only when I'm showing my true nature.
Oh man, that thing is awesome, dude. Oh man, it's huge. It's
That's
huge.
a big one. That's a nice one. That was collected locally. I got it because it's got a little chip. But that little chip
Gives a
was
character.
well, it had it was in a fight with a pterodactyl, and it won actually.
Oh, you know what? Can I show you something? I'm trying to get my fish onto pellets, but the problem is after 2 days, it gets really bad, like really bad. And where is this photograph? Oh yeah. Here it is, right here.
You mean it gets dirty or what?
No.
Hi, Danny Kenny.
What's
How are
going
you?
on, Father Fish?
What is he
Okay.
What are we looking at?
You're
What are we looking
at a
Fisk?
biker. Looking at a biker with a clown knife in his mouth.
A biker with a clown knife in it.
Biker?
Oh, I see it. Well, there you go.
Yeah. I don't know how to wean it off of live food, and I'm feeding almost 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm feeding almost 1,000 goldfish a week.
Yeah, what you need to do is
The clown knife. I mean, the one
buying. Go to the store and buy fish like tilapia and cut it up and feed it. Start buying packaged food. You can even buy bait, the blocks of frozen bait. You can buy that and feed it to them. Start buying cut fish, in other words, or dead fish, and cut it up and feed that to them. They will eat it. It will not be different from what they're getting. They won't have the hunt, but they will be getting the same quality food. And then from there, you can move more toward some of the pellets. You can even mash the pellets into it to get the pellets into the fish. And that'll also help teach them how to eat the pellets. It just takes time.
Dude, after 2 days, that's what happens. They predator each other, and
Yeah.
They were like pretty much the same size, and he decided to eat a clown knife as big as him. Ridiculous.
Right. Well, start using cut fish. Buy cut fish at the store, or shrimp. Anything like that. Shrimp are good. Small fish like bait fish. Throw that in there. They'll get into that. That'll work.
Will a supplement work? Maybe I'm using my supplement.
So what have you been up to, Father Fish?
How are you, Kenny? Not a lot. I've just been. We're trying to get some new things going here at the shop.
You had me quite envious of being up there catching those pygmy seahorses.
Yeah, I know. We missed getting you guys there. That would have been fun. We only got a couple, but we need to go back, and we need to. There are a couple of other places I know we can go to get seahorses.
So did you hurt yourself when you fell, or?
No, I just got a little scrape on my knee, and I cut my thumb. A little cut that's still kind of raw. I'm picking stuff up all day, so it burns all day.
Hey, Father Fish.
Yes.
If I get cut on my hand, it lasts a long time, and it really sucks because you use your hands so damn much.
I know.
It's like the worst cut you can have.
Really?
You can have
right
like
my thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, you use it all the time, but this is what I got.
It's a little better today, right? What is that?
It's called a garlic extreme, and I've been trying to put it onto my pellets and stuff like that, but they still won't eat it.
Do what I told you to do. Go to the store and buy some fish.
So buy some tilapia or something, right?
Whatever, yeah. If they have frozen blocks of bait fish, buy that, and then thaw some of it out and feed that. They'll take it, and it'll make the transition very easy.
So what do you think? Smelt is good?
What?
Smelt?
Yeah. Smelt is perfect.
I think I can get my hands on it.
What part of the country are you in, Fisk?
California.
Cali?
Where in California?
Oh, Northern California.
Oh, okay. That's a little nicer up there.
Something else I was going to suggest. I go out every time it rains and I get 2 or 3 dozen night crawlers. Night crawlers are wonderful food for predators.
Oh yeah.
If you got those there,
you just go to a bait shop.
Yeah, they love them.
Go to a bait shop, huh?
If you got a way to collect worms, that's an ideal food.
Oh, I have super worms. I have a local store that sells like those big worms that look like it has a shell on it.
Yeah, it would take an awful lot of them, and that would become expensive.
Yeah,
you're better off. Try the smelt. I think you'll be pleased with that. Just don't overdo it because you don't want to foul the water. Just put a few in. Make sure they eat them. Do not overfeed. Whatever you put in there stays in there. When the fish poop it out, it's still in there. So don't overfeed, or you'll wind up wiping everything out. And you've got a heavily populated tank there. It's you do run a risk with that.
Yeah, I know. Dead fish is no good. It's like it hits really fast and hard. Like all of a sudden I smell a reek, and then I check out the tank, and all of a sudden it's like a crap ton of goldfish stuck on the thing, and that's an indicator of something's wrong with the water. Then I got to break out the nitrite kit or the whatever API stuff.
My other
Are you doing major water changes? Are you doing major water changes?
Yeah, no. Once every 4 months, because I'm running 2 FX6s, two Emperor 400s. Let's see, I'm running another 75-gallon 206.
You've got a shallow substrate. You're playing Russian roulette.
it's kind of thin though. Yeah, you're right. My substrate is kind of thin, but
You're playing Russian roulette. You're going to wind up coming down there one morning, and everything is going to be floating. I guarantee it.
it hasn't even been a week. I lost my frontosa, a big one too. I had a big one. It was worth like $150.
I would do a 1/3 water change every week.
Oh
with the
yeah.
number of fish you got in there, with the number of fish in there, the quantity you're feeding, the lack of a substrate, change 1/3 of that water every week, and do it religiously, or you're going to wind up in trouble.
The other thing I would suggest, Fisk, is with all my African and all my cichlid tanks, what I have is the water lettuce. It at least will suck a lot of the impurities out of the water for you, help keep it a little bit more filtered for you. It's kind of a pain. It can be. You're just running FX6, as you said, right?
Yeah, but I added I took out a lot of sponges and put a lot of biologicals.
Yeah.
On pretty much everything.
Too, that would help keep things in control. I would put some kind of a floating plan in, because normally the cichlids won't mess with the floaters.
And it's the problem with the problem you've got is that you do not have plants, because plants provide a way to control water quality, and you don't have that. You don't have that built-in water quality machine working for you. Filters don't do it. All filters do is get rid of ammonia and pull out particulate matter. They really don't do much else. A filter is relatively worthless, except to move water. And in a tank that size, you do need moving water. Do you have a big air stone in there with a lot of bubble aeration going? I don't think you do. You got pretty good flow. I see water moving.
Well, yeah, with two FX6s, I would assume that it would be flowing, but that meant big old FX6s on there.
I have a gyre wave maker.
I see.
Yeah, that thing is pretty strong. And then there's definitely no stagnant water on the top.
Right.
And then I also run a chiller. That thing costed me like $600.
Running a chiller. What temperature do you have the chiller set on?
Dang, it's at 80 right now, but that's where I want it. I don't want to.
What's your ambient temperature? What's the temperature of the room?
Probably 70.
So you have a heater on it, not a chiller.
I have two heaters. I run two Eheim 500s. I think that's what it is. It's definitely more than enough. Like this tank is well taken care of. Like I have so much biological media in there, like those noodles. I put extra in it already. Like the FX6 only comes with so much, but I added more. So I added more to that. I also added more to my Emperors. Pretty much, I'm running maybe 25, 30 pounds of biological media, like those little noodle things. About that many pounds. So I don't know. But this is just a temporary tank. I'm definitely gonna move on.
I'll tell you what I would do, and I'll end it with this. I would put 4 inches of sand in that tank. Just start buying bags of sand and pour it in. You can rinse it out first to get the dust out of it, and put sand in there. Get at least 4 inches of sand in that tank.
I was trying to get it at Walmart or like Home Depot. like
Yeah,
a hardware store. I
dump
was
the
planning
bag
to just buy
in a
the cheap
bucket.
stuff.
Dump the bag in a bucket. Stick a hose down in it. Swirl it around. Pour off the cloudy water. Do that 2 times with each bag, and then dump the sand into the tank. Make sure when you put it in that you turn your pumps off, because you don't want the pump sucking in sand. It'll ruin the impeller. So turn the pumps off when you put the sand in. It's not going to pull the sand up off the bottom, but it can catch it as it goes by. But I would do that and do it right away. Get a decent substrate in there. That's going to help more than anything else you can do. And then I agree with Kenny. Get some plants in that tank. There is no reason not to have plants. They will be the best thing you can do for those fish and for the health of the tank. Do those 2 things and get back to us, Fish. And make sure you do water changes.
What do
Regular
you?
water
I
changes.
I was actually gonna change my FX6 today. Like, well, it's 5 a.m. Maybe like around lunchtime. I get back up, maybe pull out a FX6, and then hold on, let me show you something.
He's really tech based, isn't he? Somebody's into selling him product.
The
I
end of
know.
the day,
I
when
show
you're
you
hunting big
everything.
cichlids, big
It's my
fish,
book. I
water
have this thing
changes.
from Petco. You think it works?
What did I just say?
I don't know.
I think you can spend money all day long on all kinds of things, and you're not going to do what nature is able to do with the simplest things. Deep sand bed, plants, water changes. If you do that, you'll be able to deal with all these other issues. It's all you need to do. Deep sand bed, some plants, and some regular water changes.
Hey, Kenny. My name is Chris. I'm Chris. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you,
What?
man.
Hey, Kenny. So, what kind of plants like floaters do you suggest? I'm not sure if my beans work is good enough for that.
What I use in most of my cichlid tanks is the water lettuce. What kind of
Water.
lighting do you have?
It has a I don't know. Beams work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
try water lettuce.
I guess I'll show you, but I don't know how much good that'll do if it's a light. You know what I mean?
That should do it.
Do you think so? It's not full spectrum, but it has a blue for ocean, and then it has the regular, like, whatever light, like the new lights, LEDs.
I would try it. The only other thing that I've used with my cichlid tanks is a Nubius on a piece of wood. You can get away with that sometimes. But definitely if you get some plants. The other problem that Father Fisher and I haven't brought up to you, if you continue with, every 3-month water changes, the one concern I have is you have Oscars in there. They are notorious for hole in the head disease if they don't have clean conditions. That would be one of my main concerns for your Oscars. And I mean,
I know.
yeah, I mean that you get that in there, and it's a booger to get rid of once you have it. So
I don't think you can get rid of that. That's permanent,
you
right?
can. No,
Hole
you
in the head?
can.
Yeah, you can trade it. You can clear it up. It
Really?
takes a lot of really clean water to do it.
Well, the only reason why my water looks kind of tanniny is because my driftwood is new. I didn't steam it or boil it. I didn't want to boil it because I wanted to experiment. I seen Father Fish's black water, and I figure let mine tan up a little bit. I've never had a tan tank before because before it used to be crystal clear, but now it's like tan. You think that's bad?
Now you're doing fine. That's okay. Just do these couple of things we're talking about and get back to
Water.
us. Tell us how it's working out.
Yeah, I have a guy. here that has like a lot of stuff, and I think I could get water lettuce from him. So how much do you think you need? Do you think I need?
Well,
We'll let it grow.
I was going to say water lettuce. One thing you won't have to worry about it will reproduce quite quickly. So, especially if there's as much nutrient in that water as you're saying.
Yeah, right. Alrighty. Thank you, Chris. I wanna chat with Kenny a bit. Thanks for coming on, Chris. Get back to us. Keep in touch.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get that water lettuce. Thanks, Kenny. Later, Father
You're
Fish.
welcome, buddy.
Take care. Thank you.
We'll
Take
talk
care,
again.
Chris.
Pleasure to meet you.
So what are you up to, Kenny?
I'm still looking for the old position. I've interviewed a few places, but
Oh yeah.
haven't found the forever home yet. So I've just been spending a lot of time on the tanks.
Well, that's a good thing. So why don't you go in with Jason and set up a shop?
Yeah, he's 3.5 hours from where I live, so that's the
That's a
only.
little
And
bit of a hole.
yeah, I have no ambitions of wanting to move to the Seattle area. It's
Yeah, I
like a
hear
step
you.
above Portland as far as traffic and whatnot. But believe me, I would love to be there with Jason every day. That place was phenomenal.
I'm real excited about it. I need to get back to him and see if we can get him on here.
He's like
He's
me.
doing that with a full-time job, isn't he?
He does have a full-time job, but I'm not sure what time. I think he starts around 7 or 8 our time. So, and he's usually up every morning at 4:30 a.m. I think he says he gets up. That's
Yeah,
the only
right.
reason I haven't been around. Man, I sleep until 7:15. I miss you where I'm at.
Really? Yeah, we've usually got Alex on here. I haven't seen him yet this morning, but he's on quite a lot. He's another early bird. Chris is Googling water lettuce. That's to be interesting. That's going to make a mess. I don't. Uh, we're gonna catch hell on this one. I can tell. Man, he's bad overstocked. I think I'd set that 55 up and put a few things in there. He's got way too many fish in that tank for the way he's maintaining it. Nice fish. Great, really good collection. Really, really nice collection of fish.
Yes, at the end, a lot of people get wrapped up in these FX6s. I mean, yes, they'll keep your water good and clean, but at the end of the day, it's water changes that save the day. It keeps,
Yeah,
especially when
that's
you're
right.
dealing with bigger fish.
They don't take the place of it. They don't. That's right.
End of the day, you still got to be a fish keeper and keep the water clean.
Yeah, and it doesn't help with water chemistry. You can lose that carbonates with it, and then your fish starts going your water starts going south, and that's the point where the fish get in trouble. Chevy
So
Fish
when
is talking about soaking pellets to make them a little easier. With big fish, it shouldn't matter. He's just got them. He's got them accustomed to goldfish. These are the things we learn the hard way.
unfortunately, yep.
Yeah.
So you got any other big collectings coming up in the near future?
Don't have anything planned. Um, Frank has got us rebooted with all of the freshwater native stuff, so we're in good shape with that. He went out one day what's today, Friday? Monday, I think. He caught 7 2-foot. He said they were amphumas. They're not amphumas. They're sirens. They're Florida native salamanders, just about 2 foot long. 7 of the bugs. And what's funny about that is we have had one here for the last couple of years, and Thomas was saying the day before we were kind of casting about trying to figure out what our shop mascot is, and he determined it was the siren, which I think he's right because it's been here a long time and it's really a remarkable animal. The next day, Frank comes in with 7 of them. Ah, so we're loaded with big, big sirens. Nobody ever has big sirens. He got them in a culvert. He went into it was a walk-in culvert, a big one. Went into it, and they were hovering on the side of the culvert. He's used his big net and was scooping them up. Missed a few, caught a bunch. Never saw anything like that in my life. So we're going to try to sell them, but I don't think I'm going to try to ship them. I think it'd be too awkward. I'm about done with shipping fish until the carriers can get their act together and start getting stuff delivered in 2 days. I'm not going to risk it anymore.
Yeah, Danny's been she's all of a sudden into these guppies after my trip. So now all of a sudden
Really?
oh yeah, she's got about 6 different strains she's bought in the last month or so.
Oh, nice.
She's
So
into them.
you got a bunch of little tanks sitting around.
Oh, we've got close to, I think we're over 70 now. She hasn't counted in the last couple of weeks, but I would bet we're over 70 now.
Wonderful. That's great. That's exciting. Yeah, I think Lucas is a real inspiration for people who want to do multiple tanks and do guppies, different strains of guppies, because he's he's showing how to do it and what it takes to do it.
Yeah, I had almost 2.5 days there, and I barely got everything shot on video.
Wow.
That's how enormous his. Plus, you're just in sheer shock when you first walk into his place.
Oh, I'll bet. Does he have does he have fish tanks in his bathroom?
I don't think he did. That's one place that's sacred, I guess. Maybe
How about the
Sarah put
kitchen?
her foot. Maybe Sarah put her foot down and said that's one place she doesn't want a tank. I don't know.
How about the kitchen?
Kitchen, I think he had one.
Is that right?
I'm trying to remember. He's got it pretty well organized for as many as he has. I mean, he's only the upper level. He doesn't have as many. I mean, upstairs, he's got one small rack in the one corner. I think most of the operation he's put in the lower levels. So
So he's got a 2-story house
right.
with the
And up,
living quarters on the second floor.
correct.
Got
Then
it.
the lower level is finished as well. The only thing that he had going on there that I don't know how they keep it so clean, but he's got this beautiful white carpet in the lower level in all the fish rooms. I'm like, wow.
Really?
I mean, it's gorgeous and it's super clean. I don't know how they keep it so clean. Because I don't care how good a fish keeper you are, you always, drop a piece of food here or there. And I mean, that carpet is spotless.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really impressive. I think that alone's worth the price of admission. That's a
Yeah,
good. I got a concrete floor and I can't keep it clean.
I know the feeling. Trust me.
Amazing. Alexander Lee says he has a 125 high in his bedroom.
Yeah, he's got a couple of them upstairs there.
Yeah, Ali Shawn is reminding us it's illegal to transport salamanders across state lines. Yeah, there was a disease in the Orient, I think in Asia, that hit the salamander populations, and the Fish and Wildlife have been trying to keep it out of the U.S. So far, they've succeeded, but they're doing it by banning the transportation, which really effectively bans the sale of salamanders in the U.S. So we got them. We got them here. I don't think it's illegal to have them, but it would be illegal for me to ship them.
Right.
Not a. I'm gonna have to look into this. I had not thought about it. I don't believe they're a protected species, but they might be. If they are, I will get a permit to be able to keep them because it's something I really want to have. I'll have to look into that today. Psychedelic was just talking to Chris about putting a light on his tank and filling it with plants. You know, it's really interesting, isn't it? Meeting someone like Chris, who's new to the hobby, who's excited about it, really fired up. He's got obviously some basic skills because he's been able to keep these fish alive for upwards of a year or so. But he's dealing with a shop that really doesn't know how to do much more than selling product. And so his mentality is product. Everything, he answers every issue with a product, constantly bringing out things that he's bought and showing us things he's bought.
Right. Right. Well, unfortunately, there are some shops out there, Father Fish. That's all their mentality is how to, what can I sell you next type of attitude.
I think,
So,
frankly, the majority of them, I think that's what most shops are into. And, you know, I do understand it. It makes perfect sense. They're running a business, they're trying to make a profit. It's just hard to get, it's hard to get the ethics straight with something like livestock, where the market has cut into the hobby and marginalized the fish keeping aspect of it. At, that's at the expense of moving product and developing all kinds of product, developing things that are wholly unnecessary, but that the customer can be convinced they really need in order to be able to keep their fish healthy and happy. And it works for a while, but it doesn't work long term. It's kind of a short term, it's a short term fix to a long term issue. And I think that's kind of what's happened with a lot of people, what happens with a lot of people in the hobby, especially with saltwater. They'll get into it, they'll sink a bunch of money into it. It'll go really great for a while. And then a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, they hit a wall and everything is wiped out. And at that point, they're up to here with it. They've spent all this money, they've got nothing to show for it. And I see that happen over and over and over again. And it's because they become so addicted to product that they never learn how to do the husbandry. They never learn how to maintain a basic healthy system. They're just
yeah,
throwing equipment at it, and throwing devices at it, throwing chemicals at it.
Sharpie's just brought up a good point. He says, I've asked my local fish store to get sponge filters in, and they don't carry them. And the reason? Because they don't go wrong or break.
It's exactly right. They can't. You don't have that residual sale. The residual sale of the filter of the replaceable filter cartridge. That's the reason they make those filters in order to sell the cartridges. That's why they make them. They virtually give them away. They make them as cheaply as they can. They're really a piece of junk in order to get you buying cartridges. And then they want you to change the cartridge every week. Once a week, change your cartridge. Wow. That cartridge doesn't start working until it's been in there 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Then it'll become really effective. But they don't want you to hear that because they want to sell cartridges. They want you coming in there every week, buying that little $10 pack of cartridges. And if they can get 50 people doing that, that's $500 a month, plus whatever ancillary sales they get. I mean, it is the nature of a racket. It is a racket. And it's not a responsible, ethical racket. It's an irresponsible, unethical racket because it's not good for the fish. Can I be clearer about that?
I was just going to say, Father Fish, could you maybe not hold back this time and tell us exactly what you're feeling?
I can do it. I can do it without cursing. The next level is the swear. Chubbs is talking about this storm. 2 storms in a month landing 15 miles apart. That's got to get to you. Bad storms, too. He says he's going to be all right. He says he's already over this hurricane season. I'll bet he was supposed to be coming over here to Florida to do some work in the Panhandle, and I guess just got stuck.
Yeah, I would not want to do his job just for that reason in that area with all the hurricanes and whatnot.
That is mean work. I've had friends who were I've not known tugboat captains, but I've had friends who had friends who were tugboat captains. So I've known of some. They're tough people. They're really strong people. You know, you're moving mammoth things around and doing things nobody ought to really be able to do. And you're doing it on a dime. It's really amazing. You know, that was the thing that was so remarkable about 9/11 and the rescue that was done by tugboat captains and by the what are they called? The not guide boats, but the people, ferry captains, pulling people off the island. They were stranded during 9/11. There were thousands and thousands of people rescued by these sea captains, by these tugboat and ferry boat captains. Just and they did it instantly. They instantly knew there was a crisis and there was a problem, and they went there knowing they were going to save lives. Just remarkable people. Let's see. We're not getting any breaks in here. We're just kind of running straight through. We may just as well. We'll just run straight through here. You want to hang out, Kenny, or you want to go?
I can hang out.
What is it? Aquatic contest is saying for a good light setup for marine. He's talking about money. Looking to spend between 500 and 1,000 pounds. Yeah, that's true. U.S. dollars, 500 to $1,000. I don't do it. I don't do it. I do now. I'm doing LEDs. I did T5s for years. Now the LEDs are strong enough I can get away with that. I buy $100 LEDs and I put them on my saltwater tanks, and they
Well,
just do just fine. Thank you very much.
you start getting over 50 tanks, you have to have LED, or the electric bill would just wipe you out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, thank God for that's why I went to T5s to get the cost down from the T8s. And
Right.
before that it was metal halide. Well, there's a killer. Metal halide. You can watch the meter go. Vroom, vroom.
Summer months I'm pretty good. I've got solar on my house, but unfortunately in Oregon, 9 months out of the year, you're lucky if you see the sun, you know?
Oh no. Huh.
So summer months I'm great, but winter months I can get up to $500 to $600, $700 sometimes. It gets a little crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Oh.
Hey, good morning, Joey at Hattrick.
Just backing up here a little bit. Yeah, Sister Lockmo's chiming in. Says I had to come to that realization with some of the YouTubers I was watching. They're pushing too many products and narrow-minded ideas of how to care for fish. Too true. You know, and it makes it's kind of interesting the reaction to this channel, to Father Fish channel. I don't get direct assaults, and I think it's because it's easier to simply say, "Oh well, he's an old fuddy-duddy. He doesn't know about all this newfangled fancy stuff." You know, and that's okay. I'm okay with that criticism. I can work with that. You know, because the reality is we knew how to keep fish alive 100 years ago. We really did. And we really did a very good job of it. Without electricity, mind you. Without electricity. Try that, guys. Try keeping fish with plants alive without electricity. My grandmother did it. She had her tank sitting in a window on top of a radiator. A radiator. If you don't know what a radiator is, that's what we used to heat our rooms with. It runs hot water from a boiler through a metal coil, like a lead coil that sits under a window, and it generates heat. And you put that tank on it and it keeps it warm. And the sun provides light for the plants, and it works. No filter, no light, no bubbler, no nothing. I do tanks here like that. I have tanks that have no electricity in them at all. Not many, because they have a kind of a dark area, so I'm kind of stuck for light.
Well, aren't a couple of the ones in the front there running solely on plant?
Yeah, that's right. You know, one of them is, two of them are now, but one's kind of empty. We got to redo it. That's the other problem I have. I'm selling stuff out of these tanks all the time. The nicest stuff always grows in the tanks that suffer the most when you pull everything out. But that's okay. I made a decision when I did this shop that everything was for sale, with the exception of one or two things that belong to me personally that I'm not going to let go of. That's probably one. Although I would sell that for the right price. I could afford to buy another one if I did. But Tom the cat, Things like my Tree of Life uh, barrel art, a few other little things. I have a little goofy fish, a Walt Disney Goofy figurine that's fishing with a little fish at the end, and I've got him drop the fish into a hole in the top of the tank, and that's cute. I won't sell that, but everything's for sale. So this stuff that gets really, really nice. It looks really, really good. I sell it. It's gone. Did it out. Which at times can make the shop look a little sparse and a little seedy. Um, but then I just have to get on my horse and try to get it put back together again so it looks like something.
Well, just in that little glass case you have, as soon as you walk through the front door, a guy could easily spend a little money in that thing. You got so many cool things in there.
All the fossils. I've got piles of shark's teeth. Not as big as this one, but a lot of them half that size. And mounds of little shark's teeth. Plus all kinds of other fossils and bones and, Lord, you name it. Everything imaginable in there. Looks like we
So
just hit. Go
you
ahead.
still got the big red tail cat there?
I do. I do. 56
He's a big boy.
watching. Oh, that's really good. Our watch numbers are going up marginally and slowly, but 56 for this time of morning, that ain't bad at all. And we're at 50 likes, so boy, I really need to get a new camera. I'm just looking at myself on YouTube. It's really bad. I need ideas on what kind of camera to buy that'll be hooked up strictly to the computer and used just for this live stream. Not something I need to take out. I've got a good camera for that. I do have GoPros. I don't know if a GoPro would be better. I guess I could try it and see. But this is really terrible.
Yeah, but you get your message across. That's what the point is.
Well, I guess. Let me see. This is a guy who's supposed to be thinking. Richard, how are you? Hey.
I just realized I went to call this guy and I'm missing a digit.
Oh no. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on a second.
Well, just
I'll send it to you.
Because I'm driving.
Okay, you bet. All right.
Yeah, see ya.
Dooby-doo. Got a
So
guy picking up.
Sharpies is telling you a lot of people use the Logitech C920 webcam.
Logitech. Okay. See what?
C920.
And a pen that's not writing.
He says that's what he uses.
Nuts. Got a dead pen. See. Jeez. I think my paper got gunk on it. C920 Logitech. Cam. I will look it up. Later for that. What time is it? 9:35. Aquatic Conquest only has 90 tanks.
Wow.
Gonna have to work to catch up.
That is work right there.
Chevy has 2 accounts. Huh, didn't know that. Oh, what else? What else? What else? Let me scroll to the bottom here. A Mevo live event cam. Yeah, I bought it. I bought this little, what's it called? Papalook camera, and it just it ain't doing much. Live event. I'm gonna do this today. Get a camera and maybe get it going first of the week. Yeah, Cynthia's saying I'd be dirt poor if I followed all the things that I'm advised to buy. Yeah, you bet. AC says fish keeping is similar to the butterfly effect in that whatever you add into the tank that previously wasn't there causes a butterfly effect. Yeah, that's really true. Whatever you put in there affects everything. Affects everything else you've ever put in and everything that's in it. So it becomes, for better or worse, part of the whole. Faulty pH meter. Ha ha. That'll get you. Oh, Thomas came up with a good one. Catch this. He wants to do an app for water quality, testing water. So what you do is you buy the app, costs like $5, $10 for the app, and then it automatically tests your water and tells you what the water conditions are and what to do about it. You simply you do the little vial, put the drops in, hold it up to the camera, and it'll tell you what the conditions are and so forth.
Huh.
So we figure we could sell 1 million of these at $5 a piece, and retire. So it's so much fun to have a young person here who's full of the world's ideas and really has a sense of where all of this stuff is going and kind of how to make it work and how to make it happen. It's really exciting and fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, the main thing they try to do is make it so you don't have to do water changes. Well, I don't believe you'll ever get away from that. You want to keep your fish healthy, you got to change the water.
Yeah, I talk about that some, but the reality is I've got systems that are doing water changes routinely. I even have top offs. So evaporation gets covered instantly. And if I spill water on the floor, it gets replaced immediately. If I put it in a bag or a bucket or whatever, if I'm siphoning out a tank to get them all out, that water gets replaced immediately. I mean, it's a little unfair to me to say I never do water changes when I'm really doing them all the time. It's
Yeah, I was going to
happening.
say you have quite the system there. So
Cynthia wants to know if Chris is Filipino. Kind of looks like it, doesn't he? Opening the windows and letting fresh air. DC Kyle, interesting comment. Fish will always appreciate opening the windows and letting the fresh air in. Yeah, that's it. And that's what a water change is. You just got to make sure that when you do it, you haven't got something in your water that's going to kill the fish, like chloramine or ammonia, chlorine or whatever. Cynthia. Oh, I think I got that. People have to understand water changes come with a hobby. How often and how much depends on how you feed. That's really the key. And I must say, I do not feed heavily. I feed very lightly. I've got Thomas in here now feeding, so my fish are getting more food now than they ever have. They're getting fed almost every day. I'm also buying adult brine shrimp, which are holding up really well. They're holding up better than blackworms. So I'm feeding them, but I'm only feeding them to microfish and bettas and that sort of stuff, things that really need live food. Oh dear, this is interesting. Sharpie says, I look at water changes much like flushing the toilet. Not bad, not bad. Gotta agree.
Yeah, that pretty much puts it right on the point, don't it?
That nails it, doesn't it? That really does. Oh, I never do water changes. Oh, that's interesting. Do you flush your toilet? Ugh, that's rough. Ah, well done, Sharpies. I love it.
And that is why I love John. He gets right to the point.
Man, I tell you, that's a keeper. That's a keeper. Cynthia wants to know if Osmocote will keep her pennywort from turning yellow. No, it will not. Your pennywort is turning yellow because it has a much higher light demand than you are capable of providing. Moneywort, pennywort, a lot of the Ludwigias require very, very intense light in order to be able to stay green. So don't automatically add fertilizer when you see a plant turning yellow. It may be light and not fertilizer. Fishymon64, thank you so very much for your super sticker. Very much appreciated. Aquatic says it's like revitalizing my community. Yeah, that's right too. Water changes. Sharpie says I have a way with words. Indeed, you do. So Alan Tooth is on his way here with some cherry shrimp. That'll be,
Nice.
yeah, Alan's coming in and volunteering once a week. So we get him going on little projects, and then he earns some credit for fish. So he always goes home with something cool. Although I think lately he's been holding on to it.
You got a question there from Edmund Dante says, "Hey, Father Fish, what can I expect as far as nitrites and nitrites? They are on the rise."
Nitrites should not be on the rise. Nitrites should be being controlled by nitrifying bacteria. If it's not, then you've got a significant issue. If it's a new tank, just do water changes to keep it down, to give your nitrifying bacteria a chance to catch up. Slow way down on feeding. Feed 10% of what you're feeding now. You've got way too much biomass in that tank. The tank is not covering it adequately. Again, if this is a new tank, it's to be expected. If it's an old tank, it's a crisis. I'm assuming it's a new tank. DC Kyle, do you have a store on GetGill? Excuse me. Yes, I do. I check it every day. I've got a few things. We're putting some new stuff up hopefully today. So I do have a store on GetGills. and I do check it routinely. Prime is a temporary fix, says Chris.
So it looks like Edmund is saying it's a new tank dirted on Tuesday.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Just do not put food in there for a while, or feed very, very, very gingerly. And do some water changes. You want to keep that nitrite down. Eventually, it'll catch up to itself. Won't take long. Won't even take a week. It'll catch up to itself and it'll be okay. Just don't put a lot of food in. Put very, very little food in. None would be better. Prime, Chris is saying prime is a temporary fix. It depends on the problem. Admin, new tank dirted Tuesday, right. Oh, low tech, Cynthia says. Thought it was okay. Yeah, the problem, Cynthia, is that it just, certain plants require a lot of light. And that's one that requires a lot of light. It makes it difficult to keep it in a tank for that reason. Yeah, Nicholas is saying to Edmund, it's still cycling. That's really true. It is still cycling. Just give it a little time. It won't take long. Sharpies wants to jump in here. We'll do that. Let's see. What else? Iron tank for outdoor tub. Iron. Sam Dam. Well, it's going to rust. There will be corrosion. It's going to leach iron into the water. Not necessarily a bad thing. If it's a very old tub, it'll be less of a problem. A new tub will be more of a problem. Let's see what Sharpie's got to say about all this. Hi there. How are you?
Morning, John.
Nice
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not bad, Kenny. Yourself, Father Fish?
I'm doing great.
To see you.
Yep, here
What's
I am.
that tank behind you?
That's my big tank.
Your big
Yeah,
tank.
200 litre, well, 40 breeder basically, Fluval Roma, which is,
Nice
I go that
tank.
way.
I love it. I love it.
Planted with Acaras or electric blue Acaras, a Bishir,
Oh, pretty.
a couple of
Yeah.
Moses, some big shrimp, and some.
Plants look great.
Thank you. So just the basic light that came with it, Fluval stratum, and fish poop. That's that's all that's fertilising that one.
Right. It's natural fertilizer, right?
Yeah, and good old-fashioned box filter in that far corner as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Also the little U4 internal, but nothing special.
Million and Sons saying, anyone experimented, thank you, with the Brightwell Microbacter Start XLF for quick cycling a new tank? Not me. Yeah, any of the bacteria you put in the tank will work. The problem with them is
You got to feed them.
Yeah, what's going to keep them from dying? In a brand new tank, you've also got to have nutrition for all this bacteria. I find it better to let it start naturally and let it build up. That's part of the reason I use dirt, because it provides a lot of natural automatic bacterias that get the system going without running the risk of putting something into a sterile tank that's going to die off because there's no nutrition for it to be able to continue. Let me say it another way. Bacteria it's essentially a life form. It's not really an animal, but it's a life form that in effect feeds on something. So if you don't have that something in there for it to feed on, what's it going to do? It's going to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if you put a bunch of food in there for it to feed on, then you run the risk of putting so much nutrition in that you're going to overwhelm the bacteria and create a polluted mess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So what I do when I'll do it in inverted commas when I cycle a tank, because I'll probably get a lot of hate for it. But I set the tank up, put the substrate in, the plants in, the rocks, the wood, fill it up with water, turn the filter and the heater on, give it 24 hours just to let everything settle and the water come to temperature. Then I clean out the filters, sponges from another couple of tanks and just clean them out in the new tank, and then add fish and some bacterial starter just in case.
That's a really good step.
Yeah, I've not had
really that. I don't do that routinely.
With any of my tanks doing it that way.
Yep.
None of this sitting there for 4 weeks adding ammonia, Bailey. Just chuck everything in.
Yeah, and here's the reality. These little bottles of bacteria, think about this for a minute. How long has that product been in that bottle?
Yeah.
A minimum of 3 months, probably 6 months, and maybe a year.
Yeah. Well,
so, okay.
I've got the API Quick Start, but that's out of date.
Right. So, and how long from the time it was bottled to the time it got to your store? It sat in boxes at the manufacturer. It sat in boxes
warehouse for months.
At the jobber, at the wholesaler, at the shop. So it's been at least 6 months in transition. Then as long as you've got it, what do you suppose happens to that product in that bottle?
I'm guessing the bacteria eat all the available food in there and then die. And then you're basically putting ammonia into the tank.
If it's aerobic bacteria, it'll run out of oxygen, won't it?
Yeah.
And then what happens? Then it becomes anaerobic bacteria. So even if it lives, it's now anaerobic. That is to say, it's a bacteria that lives with no oxygen, without oxygen in its environment. So you pour it into your tank. Then what happens?
It dies because of the
It dies, right? Exactly. So what are you really doing?
Yeah. So just a thought here. So you had some that was technically out of date or had been sat around a long while. What if you got it and used a pipette, syringe or something, assuming it is anaerobic bacteria, and then literally injects it deep into the substrate? Could you fire off an anoxic anaerobic bacteria colony that way? Would that work?
Yeah, it works. The problem with it is just the physics of doing it.
Yeah.
If you do it with the baster, for example, and you stick that baster all the way down to the bottom of the substrate and you squeeze the baster, what you're doing is displacing the water that's already there with new water that you're putting in. So that water that's already there is coming up in the substrate. So while you can do it and it works, you got to be ginger about it. You got to not do it a whole lot, because if you do it a whole lot, you're simply pushing all that water up into the tank.
Yeah,
You're displacing,
I'll do it as a new tank, as it were, rather than established.
Well, anaerobic occurs pretty quickly. Within a matter of virtually hours, deep that dirt in the deep becomes anaerobic very, very quickly, and it does it kind of the way God intended for it to do, which is automatically.
Yeah.
So it becomes anaerobic right away.
As nature just works.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's naturating, nature doing its thing. And that's really the whole purpose of setting up tanks this way, is to let nature take over and run it, as opposed to letting man play God and run the tank for nature. You see, it's like that. And that's the trap we're in, because we're in this high-tech age where we're going to take over and run nature. We think we can change the environment, you see. That's where all that mentality comes from. Changing the environment. We can make the environment healthy. We can make it sick. In truth, we really can't do anything about it. It does what it does.
If there's one thing that the lockdowns caused by COVID showed us, is that just by getting us out of the environment, it heals itself.
You said your waters, your air and water are cleaner since COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. All the everywhere that people would normally go, camping or for bonfires and barbecues or any of that, it all looks so much better now. People haven't been there for a few months.
Well, now I'm gonna have to call you on this, because you proposed the very solution to this problem way back about 50 comments ago, when you reminded us to flush our toilet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, in a confined system like a tank, there's nowhere for it to go. So you've got to get rid of it. But in nature, which has been around for millennia before us, and it'll be around long after us.
Nature has been around as long as nature's been around, right? Sure enough.
Been around since Luca, or the first carbon-based life forms appeared. However many billion years ago that was.
Foxy's Fish is here. Hey, Roxy, nice to see you.
How you doing, Roxanne?
Yeah,
Roxy's getting better. I think she's sleeping more. I called her the other day about 11 o'clock in the morning. Nobody answered. And then she called back. And she said, "You woke me up." And then I felt horrible, because she's been having a lot of trouble sleeping for the last.
With insomnia, it's not.
Yeah, but I guess she's doing better. Doing better. Well, we have done 2 solid hours here, guys, plus a few minutes. Sharpie, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
We're gonna have to get you back. We need to get more of your wisdom on here.
My wisdom. I've only been keeping John.
All right, I'm gonna find a tune. What shall we do for a tune? What shall we do? I still got a Fishy Bun sticker up there.
So Ken made my choice in music, so that would be a bad start.
Oh, I see. Let's see what we can do here. I got to get back to my channel. By the way, for anyone who has not been to my channel, it is set up to resemble an encyclopedia or a library, with topics that will help you deal with various issues in your tank, primarily how to set up the tank. I mean, that's really, I've not gone far beyond that. So do take a visit.
My
Stop
channel's just a hot mess.
Let's see, what do we want to do here? We haven't done the girls' songs. Shall we do the girls' songs? Let's do the girls' songs.
Oh. I'll just move around. The little shoulders.
On a Baltimore lived a man of the sea, and he told us of his life in the
Bye, Kenny.
See you later, Father Fish. Thanks.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate coming on. There we are.
And we smiled.
I do not remember that picture.
On Father Fish's one luxury. We all love Father Fish's great life stream. He keeps his tanks so clean. The plants, they are so green. We all love his fluffy beard. It is so white. His eyes, they are so bright.
I need to get that fish.
That is cool. I mean, it's a
I
bit
need to
freaky,
find
but
out who's got that. Where is that from? I need to get that.
But to watch him on replay. We all love Father Fish's great live stream. His tanks, they are so clean. The plants, they are so green. We all love his fluffy beard, and it's so white. We all think he's tight. His eyes are so bright. As we live the life fishy. Everyone!
Isn't that fun? What a girl.
Father Fish, Father Fish. One place to go to if you have Vic. Your fish may itch or even flash. So Father Fish is your one-stop cap. Cap it all with an inch of sand. Cap it all with an inch of sand. Raise the temperature with a helping hand. And add some garlic on top of that sand. The itch will go, your plants will grow.
Have a good day, Mary.
We'll have a happy home. Father Fish, so Father Fish, your one-stop wonder if you keep fish. Starring Sir Father Fish and all his followers on the Father Fish channel. Over to you, Sir Father Fish. Hello, Mary.
All right.
Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break. Yeah. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
That one will do.
Thank you, Father Fish. You have a great day, bud.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Probably
Bye, Sharpie.
the nuts.
Bye.
Bye, Kitty.
Um,
Goodbye, everybody. See you
when you can play
tomorrow.
around with all of it and decide what you want to do in your production stream for
There's a
Savannah
father
Fish.
fish. Right. Ah.